on Warriors? It is your boy Shin Ryu, and it is time for another Street Fighter Duel video. We're having a bit of a twist here. You guys were surprised to have seen that we had the kit analysis released before the kit reveal or the kit review. But this is actually because of the fact that I had some sound problems, which you probably had a preview of from the kit analysis. But I was able to sort of at least rectify by recording over that problem for a brief period for resuming our regular live, commentary. But pretty much what that has done is actually opened my eyes to actually help me explain the kit even much more, because we had some transition that we tried to do originally, but because of some doubts here and there, we needed some verification, and it kind of like seems like it helps even open our eyes to explain the kit review, the kit itself. So we're going to go right ahead and we're going to look at E Hunter's kit. Okay, Rich E Hunter, as he's called him. I call him Cash Money Hunter, and this guy is a real big pop. I'm not even gonna lie at all. This guy is legit, and he is the shit. Typically I don't say this before the review, but I'm gonna let you know why. And obviously if you guys have seen the analysis, you probably already have an idea why I'm talking about this. Okay, so let's go over to the character himself and let's go right ahead and look through his kit. And his kit is going to be a lot more easier to translate because I've actually used the character in the analysis, and this guy translates his kit like fire. And also it explains the caliber of opponents that actually he faces in the analysis, because what he's about is not just about protecting your team, but it's about making your own tank look stupid. That's just what this guy is all about. I'm just going to put it out there right now. That I didn't realize before when I was reading this, and you will understand more, because when you talk about damage reduction, you're not really focused as to what they're really referring to until when you actually face your opponent. So let's get with the passive real quick here. I'm super excited about this character. This guy has got me doubtful about Goken. That's how much I respect the character. So if you guys are wondering if it's just one other character that just looks distract you from the the actual growth of your existing characters, I'm going to tell you he is actually a major distraction. I can actually change the course of your focus when it comes to who you want to actually work on. Without much further ado, let's go through the passive. Okay, we're going to read this again, and it's going to be easier for me to explain. So after the start of battle, obtain 1 fortune every 10 seconds. Upon reaching 10 fortune, gain totally loaded. When total loaded ends, remove all fortune stacks. Okay, now total loaded actually increases defense and effect resist by 80%. This is very important when it comes to protecting your own team. Obviously, you reduce the interval to 7 seconds when you're level 3, which typically should be able to easily attain, unless you're still much just starting the game new. And then on level 4, you gain super armor while totally loaded is active, meaning you can be knocked back. And of course, you have that extra buff in defense as well. Now, Fortune X is explained that each stack increases defense and effect resist by 8% and stacks up to 10 times. This is very, very important. I wonder what it's going to be like when you face another team with the same character, because this move is trying to explain that it is filthy rich, but as you see with total loaded, you're going to recover 1500% of defense as HP upon obtaining this effect. Increase defense and effect resist by 50% by 15 seconds. You're going to realize this guy barely gets knocked out first. He gives the regular OG E Hunter vibe, except he does his defense a whole lot more. The only thing is he's going to end up protecting, in most cases, one of the units, the one with the weakest defense, I think, or in most of the time. But if you play it right, your other team should also be okay, and you should be able to get rid of the opponent before you start to lose your own members. Okay, let's go to super combo, which is extremely important in the mechanic of this character. I found out in the middle of the analysis, because most of the time I figured I wanted to make sure that being a tank, I wanted to focus on just the defensive aspect of things, and I tried to let the offensive units take over. Trust me, he did way more than the offensive units did themselves, and that's because of the keyword of damage reduction. Okay, so let's go. Wave the golden scepter and summon a double to descend from the sky and slam into the frontmost enemy position, dealing damage equal to 1280% of defense to all enemies in an area. You see that? So the damage you're going to deal is going to be 1280% of defense of all the enemies. That means if you have some more defense, you're ready to get a lot of damage as a result of that drop. Okay, and if you put a shield, that is additional defense to your team. That means additional damage to your squad. Okay, and that's why I said it's going to make the tank of the opposing team that you're using look stupid. I praised Abel and actually was even started to give him like props that he was actually protecting better than he, and then it made him look foolish once I realized how his mechanics works. After unleashing the super combo, restore super combo gauge by 200, then inflict life link on all enemies for 10 seconds. So that's what I saw that was happening to, Abel and the other team in the analysis. You're going to see that once you watch the analysis. Typically, we'd have seen the analysis come out first for this video, so chances are you'd have seen it as well. Okay. However, going back to what I was trying to say, then inflict lifelink on all enemies for 10 seconds and reduce the damage reduction of enemies affected by this lifelink by 25%. See, the damage reduction is what he's messing up right now, the opposing team. Because what you're trying to do as a person is you want to gain a lot of damage reduction through shields and all the other buffs they can actually get. He is not going to negate that damage reduction and turn it against you. So you're better off without it if you want to survive against this guy. Otherwise, get ready to get a lot of damage, okay? And that's where the super combo comes in as being important. On level 2, you're going to get the gauge restored by 300. On level 3, the people affected by lifelink is going to get damage reduction affected by 40%, even worse. And if you have a major attacker, make sure just be rest assured that guy is going to be gotten rid of first, because it's going to get an extra effect of 20% in addition to the 40% that is going to give to the entire team in the opposing end. Okay, we already know what fortune is all about, so we're going to go right ahead and skip through that. Okay, so now 100 stabs, that is a C1. All right, stab with golden scepter 3 times, dealing damage equal to 930% of defense to enemies in an area. For each hit, there's a 4% chance to obtain 1 fortune. Okay, this is also great as well, but you don't get 100% fortune like in the first one. That's where the difference between the super combo and the C1 comes in, because if you upgrade to level 2, you actually get a 60% chance of fortune, and of course you get damage increased by 120%, which gets into the thousands of percent of defense to the enemy. All right, and of course level 4 gets to 140, so you're going to just keep on moving up there. It's also a good alternative if you have a character that is going to do a lot, but chances are that if you want to maybe start to do a lot of damage from the very onset, you probably want to start with E100 Super. That's what it's looking like right now. And when I say E100, I mean Rich E100, okay, not Reg E100. And now let's go to the C2, and it says slam the ground with a golden scepter, knocking back and interrupting nearby enemies and dealing damage equal to 108% of defense. Also cause all fighters other than Rich E100 to lose 10% of their max HP. All right, not exceeding 800% of Rich E100's defense, and convert 200% of the HP loss by friendly fighters into a permanent shield that cannot be dispelled. So now, they're now getting major, gauges here. But if you face a team with the opposing E100 right now, what you've done is you're giving yourself more damage reduction, meaning you're going to be affected more in reverse when he attacks you with his moves, because his moves more or less is dependent on you having a lot of shield, and which is what I think might actually translate crazily when the bosses start getting their high rates of damage reduction buffed up to them. Instead of you not hitting them as much, you're probably going to be hitting a lot more. But of course there is a cap, to make sure they put that cap there so you don't overkill the move, right? On level 2, you convert 250% of the HP lost into a permanent shield. So the good thing is that you don't lose more health to convert more. You're just going to get more conversion. At level 3, E100 also obtains a permanent shield that cannot be dispelled with 10% of max HP capped at 1600% defense. And at level 4, the team E100 obtains a permanent shield that cannot be dispelled equal to 25% of max HP, and it's capped at 200% to 2000% defense. All right, this is what I'm trying to say here. Without the cap, they're just going to become OP. So that pretty much, and I guess the cap is important when it comes to facing bosses. All right, so That's just pretty much that. But this is pretty much a buff there, and this buff definitely supplements the super combo in your next run and can actually make it really devastating. Okay, so that's pretty much it with regards to the regular skills there. We're going to go to the fighting spirit real quick. Okay, and let's have a look and see the fighting spirit here. Okay, HP bonus 37%, attack bonus 23%, defense bonus 33%, and damage reduction 10%. Okay, great fame. That's what it is called, and it's all about the golden scepter. All right. Wild Shield provided by Grand Eminence is active. Increased damage reduction by 25%. Now, this was something I actually mentioned in the original kit review. I'm going to say it here again, but my worry and my concern indirectly translated to what made this character great. Okay, I'm not really a fan of it, but because it's kind of added to the viability of that character, right? If you notice here, this F1 focuses on the Grand Eminence, which is the C2, all right, the buff, and then the Garage, as we're going to see shortly, is going to focus on the super combo, which is the C super combo, which is the crushing Orochi, right? But let's go right ahead and let's read this quick here, right? So in level 1, when it comes to the assist, upon entering the battle, the assist fighter is going to lose 10% of maximum HP. 10% of the HP loss is converted to a permanent shield. All right, this pretty much looks nice. Extra buff for your tank, but this is only if you have, for this is something that I might consider if I use my Assassin squad, because I would obviously be able to protect, like for example, my Gokin to last a bit longer. But of course, once it gets really strong and it gets its cars, Gokin is going to be really strong as well. So I can actually put it on someone else that might need it more, like a weak, maybe like an Oni that pretty much is very squishy. He might be the one that might get that, whatever. But otherwise, he's going to be a waste if you're putting him on the assist position. However, obviously you get the first opportunity when you have the fighting spirit unlocked, which is only going to be at SS. So that's something to think about as well. Okay. And at plus 10, you obtain 140 when the shield provided by Grand Eminence to any friendly fighter is broken. All right. Level 20, plus 20 rather, while the shield provided by Grand Eminence is active, increased damage reduction of friendly fighters by 25%. If you guys are hearing any rumblings on the background, that's probably my kid. Hopefully it's not penetrating to the sound, but just want to give you a heads up out there. Okay. And upon obtaining, hold on one moment here, and hopefully that has been resolved. But let's go right ahead and look at the last one. Upon obtaining totally loaded, unleash Grand Eminence once. This is considered a trigger skill, so that's actually nice. You get that buff without even having to trigger the buff, so that's actually cool. And we'll see how that we see how that works out. It's a lot of things are happening when you start using the character, but you see all translate to good stuff. Okay, so but like I said here, this one pretty much is going to encourage you to do a lot of Grand Eminence to to get the full boost, which is the C2 here. And as you see with the Garage, the first star is going to encourage you to use the C1. You can see obtain 214 after unleashing crushing Orochi. So but the thing is, it is actually really good, but it also helps you boost your fortune as quickly as possible, so you can get to that 80% that you need to unleash totally loaded. Okay, and of course, upon obtaining totally loaded, restore the super combo gauge by 200 and increase critical rate of all friendly fighters by 20% for 15 seconds. He's not just going to be a nice PvE character, but it's also going to be an awesome boss unit. I can actually see that already, and not a lot of the special characters can boast that, maybe except Trendy Gal. So what I actually like about everything in the end is that it looked tough to see who would be a better character or who would be competitive to challenge the existing special characters out there. But it's good to see that despite the fact that this unit already exists in the TN version, they're able to make sure that they are extremely viable and are up to date. And I'm telling you guys, this guy here is legit. The good thing, however, with regards to a blessing from the disruption is we didn't actually go through the soul power, which is kind of odd because most of the characters that have come out recently didn't have soul power. However, we have a chance to look at the soul power right now, so let's go through it. So I guess I was a blessing in disguise with the sound disruption there. Okay, you can see here this is a C1. All right, this is the stabbing, whatever, 100 stabs. We're going to have an increase to this damage by 140% when total loaded is active. Okay, of course, you already know what it is because even if we don't mention it, I actually went to the wrong spot. I want to go somewhere else. You're going to see it mentioned here as level 4. Okay, level 4 is typically for the soul power, and of course with the grand eminence, it says which under obtains permanent shield that cannot be dispelled, equal to 20% of max, be capped at 20% defense. That already is also visible there. So even if we don't go in here, we're not going to miss it. But the thing that actually matters is to see what the buffs is, which is effect resist is what you're going to be getting at 3%. So that's pretty neat as well. Okay, if you look at the start overview here, you can have a brief look at it. You can see defense bonus is pretty much at the high end, so I expected for a tank. So that pretty much puts him almost at the top, if not the top. I think Goken still has a say as to who's the best tank in the game right now, but he's definitely not going to let Goken have it with both hands without having to say himself. Like, he's definitely, you can't go wrong with either one of them. Goken's special obviously is his durability and the chance to revive the team, but this guy protects your team and will probably even prevent you from requiring a revive in the first place. So it's there for you guys to decide who you think the go-to tank is. If you haven't already decided going for Goken, that is. For me, because it's Assassin, I really want to go for Goken, but instead of me going for any other character after I'm done, I can see myself going for him once I'm done with Team Assassin, and hopefully, the only thing that's going to deter me from doing that will be once, maybe Badass Ryu, they want to call him, Trendy Ryu, whatever name they want to call him, comes to town and also becomes a special character because he needs to be dope. Seriously, we need to have a dope Ryu that is not evil, all right? And otherwise, that's pretty much it for me, guys. This is the entire kit itself. We haven't discussed the speed. I believe it was 105 or so. We're going to check that for sure and also make sure that we at least confirm that information. So I probably should have just gone to the stick there, but it's all good. You can see 105. There's the speed right there. And as you can see here, everything's all cleared out. So we got all the rewards there. So nice stuff here. So what do you guys think about the character? Have you guys tried him out already? I thought this was going to be the last video for the day. Obviously, we're already approaching midnight here, but I'm going to try my best to still do one last video for you guys, and that's going to be, as you guys know, this is available already, a kindling trial. All right, and we're going to just go right ahead and just try and get this first one going, because I can't wait for my first copy of these badass Kingpin Big Popper right here. Cash Money E100. Yeah, he deserves all that praise I'm actually throwing at him. I don't know if anyone else sees him differently, but if you come to see him from the view that I'm seeing him, he is definitely badass. That's my review, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you smash a like if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't either. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.